Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of fortune and dreamers of destiny, in this intricate tapestry of life, many embark on the tantalizing journey of playing the lottery, not merely to chase numbers, but to chase possibilities. The very act of holding the ticket is like stepping into a kaleidoscopic labyrinth where fate, hope, and belief intertwine. But what if I told you there is a verdant path, hidden in plain sight, that could transcend the ordinary into something truly magical? When you play the lottery, you're not just engaging with digits and statistics. You're orchestrating energy, energy that listens, energy that responds, and energy that often reflects back not what you want, but what you believe. So delve deeper into your mindset. Your emotions and vibrations are not in the vibrations you release as you dream. The lottery ticket may be printed on paper, but the real ticket is your belief system, your internal compass navigating the crucible of hope and skepticism. So do this before you even buy the ticket. Close your eyes, breathe, envision a life reimagined, not just with riches, but with purpose. Feel the emotions that wealth would evoke in your soil. Freedom, joy, generosity. See yourself living in a mosaic of abundance, not just in possessions, but in peace. Say to yourself with unshakable certainty, I am aligned with prosperity. It finds me in expected and unexpected ways. Do this, and you activate the unseen. You beckon blessings. You transcend luck and tap into co-creation with the universe. Most people play the lottery out of desperation, but desperation clouds the signal. Approach it not from lack, but from the knowing that abundance already resides within you, simply waiting for your permission to bloom. Because here's the truth. When your mindset is aligned, even if the lottery isn't the channel, something magical will come. Something captivating. Something tailor-made for your spirit. The lottery is just a mirror. It reflects the depth of your belief, the clarity of your intention, and the openness of your heart. Now, are you ready to see the magic? Most people look at the lottery purely through the lens of probability. They study the odds, calculate to inoculate the chances, and often arrive at a disheartening conclusion. It's nearly impossible. But here's what they miss. Life's greatest shifts have never obeyed the rules of logic. Miracles don't consult statistics. Transformation doesn't ask for permission from probability. To play the lottery from a limited mindset is to chain your dreams to the floor. But to transcend the numbers is to awaken a deeper truthing that energy, not math, is the currency of creation. When you play the lottery, not the numbers on that ticket are just a formality. They're not the power you are, your belief, your imagination, your emotional frequency. These are the real architects of change. Numbers are fixed, but energy is fluid. Where numbers stop, possibility begins. Whisper. Not transcending the numbers means you understand that the lottery isn't just a financial opportunity. It's a spiritual mirror. It shows you where your faith lives, where your doubt lingers, and where your thoughts either create resistance or radiate allowance. You can't manifest wealth by aligning with fear, and fear always grows in the shadow of limitation. When you obsess over how unlikely something is, you broadcast a signal of scarcity. But when you hold the ticket with wonder in your heart and certainty in your spirit, you override the statistical framework. You begin to whisper, you begin to operate in a different dimension, one where alignment, not odds, dictates results. To transcend the numbers is to remember that you are more than a logical being. You are a magnetic field of consciousness, capable of attracting reality to match the dominant frequency you emit. If your energy is locked in doubt, the outcome will reflect it. But if your energy is rooted in knowing, in possibility, in divine timing, then the numbers lose their grip and a new law takes over. The law of resonance. To whisper. When you rise above the fixation on winning or losing, you unlock an even greater prizing freedom from limitation. To whisper. Not you begin to see that the lottery was never about money. It was about testing your capacity to believe in something unseen, to trust in forces larger than calculation. When people think about luck or winning the lottery, they often obsess over the external process, picking the right numbers, choosing the right day, hoping the odds fall in their favor. But what truly shapes the outcomes of your life, especially in areas seemingly governed by chance, is your internal world. Specifically, your emotions. Emotions are not just fleeting feelings. They are energetic frequencies, and every frequency sends out a signal that draws experiences back to you. To orchestrate your emotions means to become deliberate about what you feel, how you feel it, and when you allow yourself to feel it. You don't wait to win to feel rich. You feel rich first. You don't wait for the jackpot to feel free. You cultivate the feeling of freedom now. Why? Because the universe doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to alignment. When your emotional state aligns with the outcome you desire, you begin to magnetize that reality into your life. The emotions you hold consistently act as a tuning fork for what shows up. If you feel anxious, desperate, or doubtful while holding your lottery ticket, you're not just hoping. It's almost as if you're repelling the very abundance you seek. Whisper not. But if you approach it with joy, detachment, playfulness, and a grounded sense of certainty, you begin to emit the kind of emotional frequency that draws abundance in, often in surprising and beautiful ways. Seem to whisper not. Mastering your emotions doesn't faking positivity or pretending to be happy when you're not. It means becoming emotionally intelligent, aware of your patterns, conscious of your triggers, and intentional about your responses. To whisper, you begin to observe the moments where fear creeps in and deliberately replace it with trust. You notice when impatience knocks at the door and invite gratitude in instead. You shift from lack to abundance not when the external changes, but when your internal dialogue evolves. This orchestration is not a one-time act, it's a daily symphony. Just as a conductor shapes the mood and rhythm of a musical performance, you shape the energy of your life by directing the emotional tones you live in. You begin each day with a feeling of expectation, not desperation. You embody the end result before it arrives, knowing that reality bends not just to action, but to vibration. You become the composer of your own frequency, and from that place life doesn't just respond. It harmonizes with you. There is a profound difference between hoping for something and declaring it with certainty. Hope carries a tone of uncertainty. It says, maybe, if I'm lucky. But affirmation with certainty says, it's already on its way. When you affirm with certainty, you move out of the passive realm of wishful thinking and into the active realm of co-creation. You stop waiting for permission from the universe, and you start partnering with it. You no longer whisper timid desires into the wind. You speak with conviction, as though what you seek has already found you. Seem to whisper not. Certainty is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the inner knowing that your energy, your intention, and your belief are powerful forces shaping the outcomes in your life. When you say something like, money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways, and you say it not as a mantra to convince yourself, but as a truth that already lives in your bones, you send a strong, unwavering signal out into the field of possibility. That signal is clear, it's focused, and it tells everything around you, both seen and unseen, to begin aligning with your words. Your brain responds to repetition. When you affirm with certainty, especially over time, you begin to rewire the neural pathways that once held beliefs of limitation, fear, or scarcity. Instead of saying, I never win anything, you start saying, abundance is always looking for me. Instead of, that kind of life isn't for someone like me, you say, I am worthy of wealth, joy, and overflow. And as these affirmations take root, they begin to shift your emotional baseline. They elevate your frequency. They influence how you show up, how you seem to, how you think, and what you expect. Words are powerful. They carry energy. But it's not just about saying the right phrases. It's about the state you say them from. Empty words without belief are like seeds thrown on concrete, but affirmations spoken with certainty are like seeds planted in fertile soil, nurtured with intention and expectation. They grow, they expand, they produce, and soon your outer world begins to catch up with your inner declarations. Affirming with certainty creates an energetic contract with your future self. Every time you speak what you believe instead of what you fear, you reinforce that contract. You remind your subconscious mind of where you're headed, and you begin to act in alignment with that vision. The more certain you become, the less resistance you carry. To whisper not, and the faster you accelerate the arrival of what you desire. Visualization is not about fantasy. It's about frequency. It's the sacred process of training your mind, your body, and your spirit become familiar with a future that hasn't yet happened, but already exists in the quantum field of possibility. When you visualize a reimagined life, you give yourself permission to step beyond the boundaries of your current circumstances and taste the texture of what could be. You begin to replace survival with expansion, limitation with creativity, and passive hope with active participation in the creation of your own destiny. To visualize a reimagined life is to close your eyes not to escape reality, but to redesign it. You begin to paint new pictures in your mind. Pictures of ease, of freedom, of impact, of joy. You see yourself not burdened by lack, but surrounded by abundance. Not just money in your hands, but peace in your heart. You visualize yourself waking up without worry, giving generously, traveling freely, living fully. You imagine every detail, the colors, the sounds, the conversations, the scents in the air, the smile on your face when you realize you are no longer surviving. You are thriving. The brain does not know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced. When you visualize with depth, emotion, and presence, you begin to shift your biology. Your heart rate changes, your chemistry changes, your brain waves shift. You enter the same elevated emotional states that you would if the dream had already come true. And that emotional frequency, felt over and over, becomes a magnet. It sends a signal into the universe that says, I am ready. I already feel it. I already live it. Bring it closer. Most people use visualization to wish, but wishing is fragile. It carries doubt. Reimagining your life, on the other hand, is bold. It is unapologetic. It is grounded in the belief that you are not asking for too much. You are simply aligning with who you were meant to be. As you whisper and as you visualize, you are not begging for a miracle. You are rehearsing the truth of what's possible. You are building the neural networks and emotional signatures that align you with the life you desire most. Repetition is key. The more often you visualize your reimagined life, the more familiar it becomes to your subconscious mind. What was once a dream begins to feel like a memory from the future. You stop questioning whether it's possible, and you start preparing for its arrival. Your decisions shift, your energy shifts, your language changes. You begin walking like the person you see in that vision, speaking like them, thinking like them, choosing like them. And as you do, the world begins to bend to that image, matching the vibration you've been rehearsing in the silence of your imagination. Most people approach the lottery from a space of internal chaos. They buy the ticket with a mind racing in fear, a heart burdened by stress, and a soul whispering doubt. They think the ticket is their escape, their only hope, their last shot. But that frantic energy, the panic, the desperation, the emotional grip, they pour into the process. It doesn't create alignment. It creates resistance. It tightens the flow. It blocks the very abundance they're trying to invite. Because the universe responds not just to your words, but to the energy behind them. When you play from a place of panic, you're broadcasting a signal of lack, of need, of fear that it won't work. An energy like that can't create miracles. It only multiplies more fear, more waiting, more lack. Playing from a place of peace, however, is an entirely different vibration. Peace says, I trust the process. Peace says, whether it's this ticket or another path, I know I'm supported. Peace says, I am already abundant, and this is just one of many possible channels through which more can flow. Peace doesn't rush, it begs, it doesn't cling. It allows, it breathes, it releases control without releasing intention. That's the key. When you play the lottery with a calm heart and a centered mind, to whisper not, you're not detached from the outcome because you don't care. You're detached because you've already chosen to believe that the outcome, in whatever form it arrives, will serve your highest good. Panic clouds your vision. It makes you grasp at things. It tricks you into thinking that if you don't win now, you never will. It keeps you trapped in cycles of worry and reinforces the story that you're stuck. The whisper, not, but peace clears the noise and opens your channel. It allows you to hear intuitive nudges, to follow small inner promptings that might lead to even greater opportunities than the one you were chasing. Peace is magnetic. It's attractive, it a whisper not. It emits a frequency that says, I am not looking for proof. I already believe. To play from a place of peace is to understand that your value is not tied to a result. It's to walk into the store, buy your ticket, and walk out without overthinking. It's to check your numbers with joy, not anxiety. It's to smile, win or not, because you know something bigger is in motion. You don't put pressure on the moment because you've surrendered the need to force anything. You're playing, but you're not pushing. You're desiring, but you're not demanding. And in that space, between relaxed desire and peaceful detachment, you unlock a kind of magic that people in panic will never touch. Peace puts you in alignment with possibilities beyond logic. It becomes the fertile ground where surprise blessings grow. It creates room for grace, for synchronicity, for timing you could never orchestrate yourself. It softens your vibration, settles your nervous system, and opens the gateway for you to not only receive, but to recognize the good when it arrives. The lottery is often seen as a golden ticket, the one thing that could change everything. For many, it becomes the centerpiece of their dreams, the single lifeline they cling to in hopes of escape, relief, or transformation. But this mindset quietly places power outside of themselves. It says, I will feel abundant only if this ticket wins. It turns the lottery into the source of their happiness, security, and worth. And the moment you make anything external your source, you weaken your ability to manifest from within. You become dependent on chance, not alignment. You start living reactively, not creatively. The truth is, the lottery is not your source. It is a symbol. It represents the idea of possibility. It's a mirror reflecting your beliefs, emotions, and intentions back to you. It's a reminder that miracles are possible, that abundance can show up in unexpected ways, and that even in a world ruled by logic and statistics, the extraordinary still breaks through. But if you attach your well-being, your identity, or your future to the outcome of one ticket, you confine your abundance to a single, narrow channel. And when that channel doesn't deliver, you feel defeated, overlooked, or cursed. You forget that the universe has count ways to bless you, ways that far surpass a 6-number match. When you use the lottery as a symbol, something inside you shifts. You begin to see it as a representation of the infinite possibilities life holds. Buying the ticket becomes a ritual, not of desperation, but of affirmation. It becomes an act of declaring, I believe in overflow. I believe in surprises. I believe something amazing can find me today. The outcome of the draw no longer defines your success. The real win becomes your willingness to stay open, expectant, energetically aligned with abundance, regardless of which form it takes. This symbolic view empowers you. It releases pressure and invites play. You stop needing the lottery to save you because you no longer see yourself as someone who needs saving. You realize that abundance isn't limited to a windfall. It can flow through a new opportunity, a shift in mindset, a chance meeting, or an inspired idea that changes your financial path completely. The ticket becomes a small token of a much larger truthing, that you are already in relationship with the energy of wealth. And this is just one of many ways that energy might express itself. Seem to whisper not. Seeing the lottery as a symbol also helps you observe your reactions with greater awareness. If not winning brings despair or self-doubt, it reveals where your faith needs to deepen. If you can hold that same ticket with peace, trust, and joyful anticipation, regardless of outcome, it shows that your foundation is rooted not in outcomes, but in identity. You stop treating the win as proof that you're lucky, loved, or chosen. To whisper not, you start knowing that you're already all of those things. And the win, if it comes, is just a reflection of what you've already accepted to be true about yourself. In a world that glorifies instant success, it's easy to believe that the only thing worth celebrating is the jackpot, the final result, the massive win, the headline moment. But that belief blinds us to the real goal, the transformation that happens within us as we dare to dream, the small shifts in our mindset, the courage it takes to hope again after disappointment, the trust we rebuild in ourselves and in life. When you the lots per not, when you play the lottery or engage with any hope for abundance, it's not just about the prize. It's about who you become in the process of believing something better is possible. The jackpot is a moment, but the journey is a path of growth, awakening, and realignment. Every time you choose to believe in more, you stretch your capacity to receive. Every time you visualize a brighter future, you teach your nervous system what safety, peace, and joy feel like. Every time you buy a ticket with faith rather than fear, you reclaim your relationship with possibility. These are victories. These are milestones. These are moments worth celebrating. Whisper not, because they're the stepping stones toward not just what you want to receive, but who you want to be. The journey gives you feedback. It reveals your beliefs about worth, timing, and trust. It shows you where you still carry doubt or where fear still lingers. And it gives you the opportunity to rise above those stories, to rewrite the script, to move from scarcity to sufficiency. The journey invites you to become emotionally rich long before material wealth shows up. And the truth is, if you can become rich in thought, feeling, and spirit, then no amount of money will ever truly define your worth. It will only amplify what you've already cultivated within. When you fixate solely on the jackpot, you rob yourself of the depth of the experience. You miss the subtle wins, the days you maintained hope, the nights you silenced your inner critic, the moments you let go of control and trusted the unfolding seemed to whisper. The jackpot is not the validation of your power. It's a reflection of the alignment you've been building over time. Not. The celebration isn't meant to start at the finish line. It's meant to be woven into every step, every breath, every small act of courage to believe in a life beyond your current circumstances. When you celebrate the journey, you no longer need the win to feel fulfilled. You become someone who walks with faith, who radiates gratitude, who recognizes abundance in forms both big and small. And ironically, it's this posture, this state of joy, peace, and fulfillment along the way that often accelerates the arrival of the very things you once believed you needed to be happy. So as you walk away with your ticket in hand, remember this: the real power isn't in the numbers printed on paper. It's in the mindset you carry, the emotions you cultivate, the faith you speak, and the vision you hold. Whether the jackpot finds you or not, you've already stepped into something greater. You've chosen belief over doubt, whisper not, peace over panic, vision over limitation, and that choice alone begins to create magic. Because the true win is not just in the lottery. It's in the person you become when you decide to live like abundance was already yours.